You ever meet a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy, and somehow, by the end of the story, he is the guy? Yeah, introducing the Proximity King experience. For a limited time, you too can enjoy the lifestyle of someone who was technically in the same zip code as power. With the Proximity King package, you get one extended family connection, marriage counts, we ain't picky. Unlimited name drops, Messino this, Vitale that, no verification required. Strategic vagueness system. Never say what you did, just imply you were around when it happened. But wait, it gets better. Upgrade to the deluxe storyteller tier. And will include contradiction flex technology. Your stories can change depending on the audience. Safe detail filter, never accidentally reveal anything real. Aura builder, sit back, pause, look serious, and let people fill in the blanks for you. Why risk actual consequences when you can just borrow the atmosphere? And remember, real guys leave records, but with Proximity King, you leave with impressions, no paperwork, no wiretaps, no problems. So if you've ever wanted to be respected, mysterious, and just believable enough to not get questioned, the Proximity King experience. Because why live the life when you can just talk about it? Product not responsible for fact-checking, federal records, or anyone from Brooklyn asking follow-up questions. Side effects may include Reddit threads, skepticism, and sudden loss of credibility. Proximity King, we don't prove it, we imply it.
Bambi Palermo Book Review, The 80's Mobster NYC. Chapter 2, The Proximity Trick. Narrated by Bambi Palermo. Chapter 2 is where the story is supposed to change. This is the moment where a guy stops being around it and starts becoming part of it. At least, that's what we're told. Now, the tone shifts. We start hearing more about connections. More about people who matter. More about being close to something powerful. He talks about being in rooms where things are happening. Being around conversations that carry weight. Being near people who, in his words, run things behind the scenes. And on the surface, it feels like movement. But slow it down. Look at what's actually being said. He'll describe moments like being present while deals are being discussed, hearing conversations about money and control, watching how certain people carry themselves. But when those moments get close to something real, they stop short. You don't hear what his role was in those situations, what he was responsible for, what anyone expected from him. You just hear that he was there. And that's the pattern. He gives you scenes. But when it comes to names tied to actions, exact locations, specific outcomes, it fades out. That's not random. That's controlled. It's called controlled specificity. You give enough detail to make the moment feel real, like describing the tension in the air, but you avoid the kind of detail that would anchor the story in reality. And then there's the biggest tell. There's no pressure. He describes being around situations that, in reality, would carry risk, money, influence, power. But there's no sense that anything could go wrong for him. No fear of consequences. No mention of being tested. No moment where he's held accountable. Because in the real version of this life, You don't get to stand on the sidelines that long. At some point, you're either in or you're not. And that's what Chapter 2 reveals. Not through what it says, but through what it avoids. Chapter 2 doesn't show a man stepping into the life. It shows a man standing close enough to describe it, without ever proving he was part of it. And once you see that pattern, you can't unsee it. Because the closer the story claims to get, the less it actually commits. Next episode, we break down Chapter 3. And that's where the story is supposed to prove everything. So far, it hasn't. Let's see if that changes. Thanks for watching.